It's 10:01, so we're going to get started because you guys have a lot to do today. So last Friday, one of my esteemed advisors, Greg Davis, over at East Chapel Hill said, "You got time to talk?" And I was like, "Okay." And Greg's like, "Look what I figured out." And he'll admit he was talking to another advisor and that person gave him the idea, but I think Greg took it and ran with it on a different level. And because Sarah and I don't have a Google Classroom per se, we never thought of this. And so we're going to, Sarah, if you'll set this to record.
Yes, ma'am.
So that all the people who've emailed me 1,000 times this morning to tell me to please send them the recording.
It is recording now, so everybody has to now behave.
Okay, we're going to put Greg on, and he is going to show you what he figured out with this Google Classroom.
Hey, guys.
Will it let you share your screen, Greg?
Do what?
Is it allowing you to share your screen?
Yeah, it'll let me share my screen.
Okay,
So,
good.
Yep, we're good. We're good. Hey, everybody. I don't know where you guys have been as far as trying to get stuff from students and getting input and things like that from your staff and your students and things like that, but I'm having a really hard time getting any response at all from anybody. I've tried social media stuff. I've been pushing it out. I'm not getting any feedback. I'm not getting anything anywhere. And it's not from lack of trying on my students, right? We've even done this thing that, Kim sent out about doing ambassadors and extending that, which helped a little bit. But I was talking to a yearbook advisor that's from another high school that's here in the district, and it was kind of one of those dumb, simple ideas that I was like, holy cow, I can't believe this happened. And I don't think it'll take that long to explain to you guys. How many of you guys actually use Google Classrooms, right? You guys are probably using Google Classrooms and stuff like that now, right? We all are. And the kids have been trained to do that since they have been in school at this point, right? My daughter goes to school here. She's in 4th grade. They're using Google Classrooms and stuff. That's just where they know to get all their information. So here's the key, the simple thing that there was. We just made Google Classrooms for each grade at our high school. And we put all that, right? All of you guys have gotten the list before. I think you guys have pulled all the lists and sent it to Sarah and to Kim, right? It's a list of all the students in your school so that they can be in the contact and have all that stuff inside Yearbook Avenue and things like that, right? Well, with that same thing, all you do is take a list of all the emails and you plug it into Google Classroom after you make it. And I'll show you guys kind of my screen real quick so you can kind of see. So I think everybody can see my screen now, right?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yeah. So as you can see, all I did was I went and created a classroom for each one of my freshmen, sophomore, junior, and seniors. And you can do this for any school, any grade level, right? So let's actually just look at my seniors, for example, right? Now, do you actually get in contact with all the seniors? No. Did all of them join the class? No, but that's okay. You know why? Because when I send out my invitations, I have 224 seniors that I talk to every time I send out an announcement now. And that's where they get all their information and things like that, right? So I've got 224 of the 300 that I've actually seniors we have at our high school. And what's cool about this is, and all of it all across the state should be the same. Whenever they actually sign up, right? And you'll see this in your Google Classrooms that you have already. If their parents actually are tied to their account as well, because like whenever they sign up, their parents put their information in and stuff like that too, to keep track, it's there as well. So I can actually email the guardians as well so that I can get a hold of the parents, right? So the parents are even trained to get this information from you whenever you send it out. So it kind of just goes from there. And I haven't invited any of the guardians yet when I did this. These kids, their parents automatically invited themselves and like got involved because they already know what's going on. So after thinking about it for a little bit, this is how I actually get the information out to the students, right? Kim and Sarah have done some great job of creating some Google Docs and different things like that for us to work with and send out, right? All you have to do is copy those. You've already copied them to your local account yourself on your Google account. You guys know how to put that kind of stuff in your classroom because you're doing it every day. All you have to do is just take and put that Google form into your discussion. And as you guys know, whenever you're sending stuff out to kids, they actually see it. They get a notification, right? Whenever they log in and they see all their classrooms like this, it'll actually just give them a notification. Oh yeah, you've got something for this class. So then they click on it and then they can actually see that it's in their feed and you can do this. Now, With my Facebook account, I'll tell you, between my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts, we only had 125 kids or parents following us, right? And I was offering like, sign up, everybody here that signs up by the end of this day, you're going to be in a drawing and get a free yearbook. Like we tried everything and couldn't get anyone. But like I said, with this, just in seniors, we're reaching 224 kids, right? And kind of go from there. Now, like I said, the forms, I've only sent out 2. We started sending them out yesterday. And these are the 2 that I sent out. And just in the time that I've done that, if I click here on this form, and the cool thing about the forms are, right, I just copied it to every single class that I have whenever I created these, okay? So that form, all I did was I made this message, I copied it, and I'll go back and show you guys. I went to each class and put the same thing in, right? Each one of them. All I did was copy and paste to each grade level. Super simple.
I love that question, Greg. Take a minute and let us know what favorite food you've been sneaking in class.
Yeah.
It's so easy to make a Google form. You guys know how to do it. So you guys can start making just one question, one simple thing.
Exactly.
Now, Greg, I know how the stream works. Why don't you walk them through? Because if you're a high school, you're going to want to send these, get your data manager to give you all your emails for the students, because you guys don't normally send us the emails for the students. You just send us for the parents. So Greg, walk them through how you put those into your people.
Yeah, let me do that real quick. Let me go ahead and finish this one little thing. I'll show you. So I'm just giving you a quick example of what happened was. So basically it says, what are you eating in class, right? Just like Kim said. Made a Google form, it was your name, your grade, what are you snacking on, and that sort of thing, right? Well, if you click here, like if you've done the forms, you can see your responses. Just since yesterday, 65 responses. Here's the kids' names, right? And you guys have used Google Forms. Look, it breaks it down and tells me what the percentage is by grade. There's something I can just take and put in as a graphic inside of my, yearbook as well. It breaks it down and shows me what grade is responding to it and stuff. I can actually give feedback to my students, which I'm going to do later today. Like, hey, look, there's more seniors that are participating in this than freshmen. Ha ha. Can we get a little competition going between them? That sort of thing. And then here's the answers that they gave. And then actually they've been sent, and I said, put some pictures in. So some of them actually uploaded pictures. Well, guess what? It actually shows the pictures where you can see, like, here's a kid that actually sent a picture of himself with his snack that he's eating. So
they got 24 pictures for one question, and you guys know that is phenomenal.
Yep.
And he got all those 65 responses just from this one thing. Now, Greg, if I remember when we were talking about this on Friday, the only thing is you cannot send more than 500.
Right. I was going to get into that now. So how you actually do that for each class, right?
Yeah.
Just send out the invitations for each class, the way you break it down. So we'll do, let's just pick sophomores, for example. What you're going to do is you actually go to people, because you guys have all invited students to your Google Classroom, right? If you haven't, this is how you do it. So all you do is you come in, you hit the plus. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my Excel spreadsheet that I actually have of an entire student, like this is mine. I'm a nut about spreadsheets and things, and it's really helped me with the whole pandemic. But let's see, I will go to open recent, and here, actually, you know what? I don't have it here. I lied. Watch this. This list, I actually, before I discovered this, what I did was I actually created a Google Sheet for all my students. Student list 2020. There it is. Here's a list of every single student in my school. And all I did was I just separated this by grade level. And then you just copy and paste these emails, for example. I'll just take some of these.
So in the chat, several people were talking about that need for limiting numbers. And I think you could easily do like a sophomore group A, sophomore group B, correct?
I'll say it again.
So like they're in the chat, a lot of people were talking about they're limited to the number of people in their district they can have in a class. So you could just do like a sophomore group A, sophomore group B, sophomore group C, if you have a large population and a smaller, number.
Okay. So yeah, for some reason I can't see the chat. Zoom's throwing me off. I'm used to Google Meets.
Yeah, it's all right.
So yeah, Now, I don't know about in our district. I can tell you that our classes aren't limited by size. They haven't limited us by size at all across the board for any of us. What they have done is it's limited in the fact that you can only have like so many people per meeting, like video meeting and stuff like that. But yeah, if you wanted to, because I thought that originally that I was only going to be able to have so many students in there. So yeah, just break it up to whatever you can. Have sophomore group A, B, C, and D, right? The other thing you can do is talk to your technology people and be like, hey, just for these 3 classes, can you actually just open these up? Because if they're controlling it that way, they should be able to control it by each one. They don't have to do it like everybody can have unlimited and whatever. So
You guys
yeah.
get how you just paste in your emails.
Yeah, so you'll just paste in the emails. And then the key to this is you're going to click on add recipients, right? And what it does is it converts them to
Individuals.
contacts. Then you just click invite. And then it sends it. I won't do it because I've already done it to all my kids, but it invites them all. Now, the catch to this is, and I'm not sure you guys are limited in classes and stuff like that too. You can only send out 500 invitations per day. That's where you'll start seeing, if you start seeing a limit whenever you're trying to invite stuff and you start hitting that wall where it seems like it's, I thought it was because I had a limit per class, which I didn't have. What it is, Google only allows you to send out 500 invitations per day. So I had to do mine over the course of about 4 days. That's the other reason why I didn't start pushing stuff out until yesterday, because I want to make sure I had all the classes populated first and went from there. But that's pretty much.
And so then under classwork, Greg, we were talking about, I know the stream is where you're doing some things, but you said you can, under classwork, you could also create assignments and things.
Yeah, Kim, I did talk about that, but I decided to go against it and
you
just
went with the stream instead. Okay.
Yeah, and here's the reason why. So thanks for bringing it up about that too. I was originally going to assign these as assignments, right? Because all of our kids are used to doing assignments in class and things. The problem is, and I talked to my yearbook staff about this, and then also the other advisor that's actually doing this as well. The kids, we all have those students that are, have like OCD or things like that, much like me in a lot of ways, where they'll start seeing that they're missing assignments and stuff. And so it puts that undue stress that's on there and started creating problems and things like that. And he had used this before this year as well, doing the same technique, and he had that problem. So we discussed it. I talked about it. So we both just decided that we think that the stream is better, because giving them the assignment version of it, then it starts creating that problem. The kids thinking they have missing work and stuff like that, and that sort of thing. It starts becoming a negative thing. Yeah. So we just decided to put it in the stream, which is fine. Because I've already, like I said, I put 2 things out and it's working just fine for me. So
now, if you guys think about it, if you're in elementary school and you're on here, your kids are using Google Classroom. Sarah's kids are on Google Classroom. That's where you might put in the parent email. You wouldn't put there is no kid email. You'd put in the parent one for your people. And then if you're a middle school, I think you can go both ways. You could go, kids or parents and see what you get. You could always go back and change it to just parents if that works better for you. But questions, I know there's something about Canvas, and I know nothing about Canvas, so we're going to have to do some research, but I bet you can do very similar. But why don't we we'll circle back on this, and Aaron, if you'll do a little research, and Tambry, maybe a little research, and we can come back and tell y'all what we find out about Canvas, since that really wasn't, I didn't even think about that that's going to be another option. But I thought Greg's idea was so positive and so on target. I thought, for some of our high schools that have 2,000, 3,000 kids, you're going to have to make multiple classrooms for freshmen, sophomores, juniors. But can you think about every day you just had one form to send out? On Monday, you sent it to the freshmen. On Tuesday, you sent it to the you just keep doing that every week. And it really kind of makes it easier for y'all to keep track of what's going on. And I do believe, Greg, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, can you make your yearbook staff teachers as well so that they can post in that stream?
Yeah, absolutely. But you can do it that way too. I'm choosing not to do it because they're making their forms. They're doing all the legwork and making it right. And then whenever they make a form, you got to make sure they make you a contributor on it so that you can go in and edit the form and stuff like that too. So they make it. I go over and make sure everything's right on it. and then I just post it because it's real simple just to throw it up there for them. And then, as you guys know, you can kind of like schedule stuff out and things like that to go out ahead of time. So I'm probably going to front load everything over Christmas break to start going out automatically, and I'm not even going to look at it for a while except to get the answers. And because the kids created the forms, they have all the access. I'm back to the chat real quick, Kim. I can actually see it now. It's amazing.
I
So,
know, it's amazing
I
how
guess,
things work.
yeah, Zoom's different. So Lisa, I think some other people asking about limits and stuff like that in the classroom. So I know there was a communications breakdown because before I found out about the 500 limits per day and stuff, I was kind of getting something similar from the district who said we were limited to 250 students. And the breakdown became you can have up to 250 students in a live meeting is what I ran into, right? Once I finally discussed it, talked to somebody over the phone, right? But there's no limit to the amount of students. So what I would probably do is create your senior class or one of the classes, whichever one you want to start with. And I would populate that with, let's say that you have, 300 seniors, right? Copy the 300 seniors email, put them in like I showed a while ago, and see if it accepts it. And if it doesn't, it'll kick it back, right? But make sure that you do just one giant group to start off with, because you can't have more than 500 invites a day. So it may get confusing between there. But yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody has a larger class. Maybe you do. I don't. I mean, I'm from Texas.
And Greg, I love that the whole idea is I don't think we're going to interview 250 people at a time, but it does give you the ability also to invite some of these kids that are responding to a Google Meet to interview them about something you found interesting. So It gives you a connection and an easy way for them to feel comfortable going to that Google Meet because they're used to doing that.
Yeah, 100%. I've already talked to my kids about that too, where they're going to have that ability to like, okay, well now go into these forms, for example, and we're going to start doing this after break. Okay, now we've got to pick 5 or 10 kids out of random out of there. Let's get them online and do a Google Meet and you guys interview them. Then we'll have that as well and kind of go from there too. So,
I mean, just think about this, the ambassador idea that Sarah and I came up with, whereas you invite the one band kid that's very popular, the one chorus kid that's very popular, the one theater kid that's very popular, 4 or 5 athletes, and you make them ambassadors to your program. And they're the ones that you have Google Meets with. So you could create a Google Classroom just for your ambassadors and then invite those ambassadors to discuss how to get the word out to other kids. Like, hey, if I send you this, can you send it out to all the band kids? If I send you this, could you send it to all the theater kids? I mean, this whole thing is about connecting. And no, it's not all perfect. We're not all everything's not going to work perfect. But every time I find an idea, like Greg and I were so giddy on Friday just playing with this because he sent his invites out and freshmen who had not responded to him all year, he had, how many did you get for freshmen, Greg?
Well, just the breakdown for that one, I had 65 responses between all classes.
Right.
And then of the freshmen that responded, because I can actually go in and see because of this. Let me go back. I had, well, my computer's running slow, of course. Why wouldn't it run slow?
How many kids accepted your invite that were freshmen?
I had 250. Just
That's
right
amazing.
No. And freshmen, I had 27% of them, 18 freshmen, 18 seniors, 8 juniors, and 21 sophomores all responded to that lunch one that I did. So, and I'm going to play with different times of sending those out too. Like I'm going to try and send them out during classes, even when it's going on, and after school, before school, and see what that curve is of when I get the most responses, right? Because I think that after school, it's not going to be time to send kids because they're like us. I'm getting the heck off these computers because I've been on it for too long, right? So I'm thinking I'm going to be sending that stuff out, transitioning before school, after. I'm going to try different times. And
well, that eating one's perfect to send out in the middle of the class.
Yeah, I saw it. I sent that one out at the end of our class period that was just before lunch, right then, like the last 5 minutes of class. So that's
oh my God. I mean, guys, great ideas. I like Kelly's idea too in Wake County about the cohorts. You can make your classroom in cohorts on a 3-week rotation. I mean, to me, this is something you guys got to play with now, and if you want to play by not putting kids in, if you just put me and Sarah in as your invites to start with and send us something, we'll make sure it works for you. If you want to do any test runs on anything, But Greg, thank you so much for this information. I'm going to send this out to everybody. As you guys play with this and you figure out something, just let me know. Or if anybody figures out the Canvas stuff, like I know Erin Bradley is going to be all over this today. And she's going to send me a video of how to do it, I know, and send it out to everybody because I know Erin Bradley. And that's why I love her. But we will figure this out for you Canvas people, or at least the best way. And Greg, thank you so much for sharing these great ideas. I think this can make a real difference in exciting our yearbook kids when they come back from break. Like, you've got a new system and they need that uplifting right now, just like you guys do. And to see 64 responses come in an hour, that will blow their mind.